Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a question that many people have asked. Do sin, karma, and retribution really exist? Or, perhaps even more importantly, if all of that is just an illusion, how should we live? Have you ever found yourself thinking, why is life so hard for me? Why does my suffering seem to repeat itself? Did I do something terrible in a past life to deserve this? Most of us have had thoughts like these. In Buddhist teachings, we often come across words like karma, sin, and retribution. But, do they actually exist as we think they do? Today, we're going to re-examine these ideas from the perspective that sin and karma are illusions, and explore how we can free ourselves from the beliefs that trap us in suffering. Part 1: Common Misunderstandings. Let's begin by clearing up two major misunderstandings we often have. First misunderstanding: I'm suffering now because of something bad I did in a past life. For example, someone is born with a serious illness. Another person faces constant struggles with family or financial hardships. People often say, they must have done something terrible in a past life to deserve that. But this is a deep misinterpretation of karma, treating it like some form of divine punishment. In Buddhism, karma is simply the law of cause and effect, not a system of judgment or retribution handed down by some higher power. Second misunderstanding: I have to be good now to be rewarded in my next life. So, some people suppress their desires, passions, and even emotions, thinking, I shouldn't be greedy. I have to help others if I want good karma. But this isn't genuine goodness, it's a kind of spiritual transaction. It's doing good out of expectation, not out of true understanding or compassion. Part 2: The Buddhist View, Karma as Illusions. So then, what is the Buddhist view of sin and karma? Shockingly, the core teaching is this: all of it, sin, karma, punishment, is an illusion created by our thoughts. This world we take to be so real is actually more like a dream. Everything we see, hear, and feel comes from the activity of our own minds. Just as a movie exists only on the screen, all karma, sin, merit, and suffering exist only on the screen of our own consciousness. Dreams feel real when we're inside them. But once we wake up, we realize it was all in our mind. In the same way, what we call reality is a kind of dream produced by discriminating thoughts. Our true mind has the power to create everything in the dream. And just as every being in the dream is a projection of that one mind, in reality, all beings and all things arise from the same one source, one mind. This is why Buddhism teaches that sin, karma, and merit are ultimately empty, or sunya, without inherent existence. Just like doing something bad in a dream doesn't create real consequences, karma doesn't bind us in the way we think, unless we believe it does. Part 3: Belief creates reality. Now you might be thinking, okay, so sin and karma are illusions. But then why do I still feel guilt? Why do cause and effect seem so real in my life? The answer is, because of unconscious belief. Even if we say, sin doesn't exist, deep inside, many of us still carry the belief that some actions are bad, and we should be punished for them. That belief leads to guilt and suffering, not because of an external punishment, but because we're punishing ourselves with our beliefs. We create our reality through belief. If someone deeply believes in karma and retribution, they'll experience the world through that lens. They'll feel blessed when good things happen and cursed when bad things happen. It's like the law of attraction: what you believe becomes your reality. So simply knowing that karma is an illusion isn't enough. Letting go of the belief itself, that's real liberation. Part 4: Good and evil are relative. Even the idea of doing good to receive blessings is based on relative concepts. What we think is a good deed might actually hurt someone else. For example, having money isn't always good. Some people win the lottery and become miserable. Others live in poverty but find deep happiness. Even acts like killing aren't always judged the same way. If a general kills many enemies, he's often celebrated as a hero. In short, there is no absolute good or evil. It all depends on our point of view. On the surface, the world appears to be divided into right and wrong. But at the level of true mind, there is no division. Everything originates from one mind, one Buddha nature. The ultimate teaching is not to split people into good and bad, but to realize the truth beyond good and evil, that all is one. That's why the idea of accumulating merit is also just a belief. In that sense, this world itself is an illusion. Part 5. So how should we live? Then, can we live however we want? Absolutely not. As human beings, we're still living within social structures and shared beliefs. Until we reach full awakening, we still need to follow common sense, do what feels right, avoid what feels harmful, and live with kindness. Karma may seem to work, but an awakened person is no longer bound by it. A perfect example is Angulimala, one of the Buddha's disciples. He killed 100 people before meeting the Buddha, but after awakening, he became free. Even when people threw stones at him in anger, his mind didn't waver. Why? Because he realized all of it, pain, hate, karma, was part of a dream. He experienced the pain, but also knew it wasn't truly real. The Buddha too was often attacked, insulted, and threatened. But he remained unmoved, because he knew this world is a dream. In a dream, no matter how intense it feels, nothing can truly harm you. An awakened being may still appear to experience karma, but they are not dragged by it. From the view of the world, some things seem tragic or unjust, but from the perspective of truth, they are simply passing appearances. Part 6. 2 ways to be free. So how can those of us who are not yet awakened be free from sin and karma? Buddhism offers 2 approaches: practice, chant, pray, do good deeds, and live kindly. This is like filtering muddy water. It may not completely purify the mind, but it calms it and helps break the cycle temporarily. Awakening. True liberation comes from knowing your true self. When you awaken to your mind's true nature, you realize that heaven and hell, good and bad, all arise within you. Even fear of death disappears, because death is nothing but a mental image. A Buddha doesn't know everything by memorizing facts, but by realizing that the entire universe arises from one mind. Once you realize the emptiness of all things, there's no one left to carry karma. There's no separate me and you, no separate sinner or judge, no separate victim or attacker. Conclusions. Sin and karma are mental constructs, illusions born from belief. But because we believe in them, they affect our lives in very real ways. Awakening means seeing through that illusion. And true freedom comes not from avoiding karma, but from realizing that there's no one to be bound by it in the first place. Living a good life isn't about fearing punishment, it's a choice we make for our inner peace. So maybe it's time to stop seeing yourself as a sinner. Maybe it's time to take that first step toward freedom. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. May all our hearts become a little lighter, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.